Is it
So
scary to work with someone who's who can throw things at you?
At you, yeah.
Like,
But
are you
there's
scared
this
to get
kind
a
of,
shot?
there's
Oh my
this
God.
mildly psychotic
Chair's
sense
coming.
of disconnection. I'm like, as long as he's throwing it at someone else, I don't care.
Has
I'm
someone
like, it's
thrown
quite
anything?
entertaining.
Has someone thrown anything at you ever?
Not at, I mean, you know, only,
Like
only the,
like a chair comes flying out of nowhere
only women.
while shooting.
No, while you know, on this journey of life. I don't know, it's really dangerous, you know, because sometimes if you are privileged like that, you might lack drive because, you know, things have come a little easy. So you have to find something and it takes a bit of time. But now that's boring. I want to be known for being really good at my work, to be, you know, a fairly solid kind of person. Yeah, I think people say you're not really much of an actor. You're not
Went
doing anything.
unnoticed.
Yeah. I really do like Sara on screen. I think she's got a inherent humility, which I really like about her when I see her being photographed. She looks really kind and down to earth. But now, I mean, what drives me is to be really good at my work, and my respect of my peers is important. I want people, you know, because I was a bit of a naughty boy and I was a bit of a, you know, errant kind of child. So I've been through that.
If you've watched the trailer of Lal Kaptan, you must have realized that we are about to witness Saif Ali Khan in a never seen before avatar. So let's find out all about the movie from Saif himself and the director Navdeep Singh as they join me on the show today. Welcome.
Thank you.
Now, when the first narration happened, when he came to you with the script and told you that this is the character, this is the face paint, the language, the body language, what was your first thought? Were you apprehensive or you dived
I
straight
think
into
I
it?
loved it immediately.
Immediately, okay.
बिल्कुल ज़्यादा वक्त नहीं लगा मुझे हाँ बोलने में.
No, it was
Anand
too
Rai
much.
and him were together, and they said it's a little crazy, this idea.
Yeah.
I have grown up on films. Like, I've loved the idea of doing a Western all my life, but some of the Westerns, I mean, the only Western I can think of in Indian cinema was Sholay. And then I've seen Feroz Khan Saab do some things which are Western-like, but they were imitations of the West
Yeah.
and cowboys. But to go into our own culture and to look at something at a time that was really wilder than the Wild West. William Dalrymple's just written a book called The Anarchy, which is exactly the time this film is set in the 18th century.
Okay.
You know, just after like the Battle of Buxar, the East India Company is about to take control of what is left of the crumbling Mughal Empire. So everything that used to be is not. There is no home for so many people. All the characters in the film are kind of wandering, lost, homeless, looking for something else, trying to get there. Everyone's after a bit of money, and these primal things are driving them. And at the center of it was this lone character of a Naga sadhu, which, if you know, are also very, very interesting characters. And there was this kind of a superhero character built around this this central character, like a, you know, Yojimbo, one of those Clint Eastwood westerns, as a thing. To get a chance as an actor to be part of a completely different world,
Yeah.
you know. And this is the hardest thing that anyone can ever do. I don't know if anyone's. I've never done anything even close to this.
Right.
Because on top of all that, like you said, the more the better, you know, in terms of get up and all those kind of
Yeah.
things. But you're also on a horse in the
Yeah.
heat,
Exactly.
in the sun.
So challenging.
So it was
and it's
crazy.
so not like you. Like the
Yeah.
Saif I know is very Nawabi. I mean, in the way, I think you're very charming, the way you talk and walk. For you to pick him for this character, for a Naga Sadhu, I mean, I feel like there's so many actors and they say casting is like half the job done when you're making a movie. But to pick him, did nobody ever tell you, or did you ever feel that he's too elite for that part?
Not really. I mean, what I really love about Saif's, you know, sort of persona is the sort of the badassery of, he has this badass side
True.
to him, and it's
I
got,
agree.
he's got attitude, and
Yes.
and that's what that character needed, more than being, say, whether it's urban or whether it's rural or rustic, or, you know, those are secondary things. It's the attitude which was
The
really
attitude.
important to me. And I also, of course, sort of realized he'd be one of the few actors who'd actually get it, you know, what the part was and what the script was about and what the story was about.
Fantastic.
You think it's more challenging than your character in Omkara because you've maintained that is one of
You
the
know,
most
Omkara had a challenging dialogue thing and learning your lines and you know, and that was it. And you know, getting a nasty haircut.
It suits you.
Yeah, okay, but that honestly was the
A
challenge.
lot of people got it done,
there's
by the way.
baby stuff compared to
Yes.
this.
True.
This is not only a voice and like, okay, first of all, you dress up this guy to be this whatever, but he has to come alive inside that. I mean, forget the mundane challenges of being on a horse in the sun in this heat and chugging, because India is also so beautiful, and this is incredible. You have to be mad to go to these locations, which are so inaccessible but so beautiful.
So beautiful.
Like wilder than the Wild West is kind of flat prairie land. This is kind of rugged India. Like, I mean, J.P. Datta might have come close in some films, but nobody's gone this far. Nobody has shot like this in these places. They're unbelievable. The kind of mud mountains of like Chambal, the rivers of Rajasthan, these forts that have been abandoned, we've made them kind of come alive. So it's like history coming alive, which is just so exciting.
So exciting, true.
Yeah.
Tell me, when you were giving these shots, particular scenes which might have been challenging as a director, it's your job to get the best shot on camera. And maybe there was a point where he was struggling, or he was trying to get the how do you get the best shot out of an actor, or convey to them that this is not what I want? There is something else I want out of you. Are you straightforward with your actors, or you try to sugarcoat to not, make them nervous?
That's a good question.
It's actually, it is. It requires some thinking. But no, okay, so I think I'm reasonably honest with my actors. You can be polite and honest, you know. So it's without, but I think we're pretty much on the same page. I mean, we've had a bunch of discussions about the character, and so it never really strayed very far from. It took
Okay,
maybe the first couple of days.
I think he's being kind. Yeah. So I'll tell you what happened, okay, without hijacking his answer. The sound recordist, we had a couple of sound recordists who came and went. क्या नाम था उनका यार? मैं
पहले वाला राधा था.
Was it Radha? Anu something with an A. I can't remember. But I shouldn't say that. Anyway, he said, listen, I'm leaving because I have to go to Bombay, but I'm just telling you, you're not sounding like the guy.
That's Kunal.
He said, you're not sounding like the guy, okay? So you need to get that ready. And then for some reason, he said, I'm shooting with you tomorrow, day after, but didn't end up shooting for 10 days. So I was in the bathroom of this rural lodge / Haveli, what is it? It was one of these places in Rajasthan, with a big mirror in the bathroom with the candles lit. Smoking, which I shouldn't have been smoking, but I was in the dark and just thinking about this alone for about 5 days. But first 2 days we were clueless.
So it takes a few days to get into the sort of rhythm of things, and for somebody to discover the character for themselves as well. Even for me, it was a process of discovery, because as it happens, you sort of.
Subtlety, of course, is a way of acting which is the most natural if the character demands that. Do you think sometimes a subtle performance, it can be a brilliant performance, is sometimes underrated? Because people tend to ignore the little nuances that are so...
There's another really good question. I think this, because I think so. I think people sometimes, if you're not, if you don't understand, you don't even notice. And if you don't notice, and if it's really well done subtly, you're like, yaar, kuch kiya hi nahi isne.
Exactly.
Whereas what they like sometimes is a little bit of glycerine and a little bit of blunder, what's it called?
Like heavy dialogue,
bluster,
larger than life
and thunder and all that kind of thing. And then it's easy to see that, ye to performance hai. But like something that's, whereas our struggle, often, or mine often, in other films also, a lot of people I work with, they're like, okay, you're showing it too much. You should feel it and just don't show so much, because people don't show so much. So that kind of thing, there is a difference. So quick answer is yes, I think so.
It does go ignored.
Yeah, I think people say you're not really much of an actor. You're not
Went
doing anything.
unnoticed.
Yeah.
What about supporting roles? They're also very important in every movie. I think they're all the more important these days with so many actors delivering brilliant performances. Do you think they also go ignored sometimes because the lead actors walks away with the cake?
In the mainstream cinema, it does happen. Although I do feel that there are supporting characters who do pop through, and even in bigger mainstream movies. But yeah, it's the whole ensemble which creates that whole texture and landscape of a movie. And yeah, you're right. People do get ignored, but more and more, I think people are. I think supporting characters are getting acknowledged and receiving praise and becoming.
Saif, I really wanted to ask you. You're one of the few actors who started. Actors have a problem with playing fathers on screen, but whether it's Jawani Janeman or it's Tara Rampam back then, you played a father on screen and you were brilliant. What is this problem that actors have with playing the older gen?
I don't know. I'm saying I think sometimes you have to be careful, because it doesn't take long. to get slotted in certain things. I think, these, like, there are different notions people have. Like, I don't want to discuss my relationship is one, where some people are quite open about who they're going out with. But then sometimes the press keeps nailing you non-stop for that relationship.
Yeah.
And then you feel, hang on, maybe it would have been better if I just didn't comment on this ever, like these very smart people. So
Nowadays
there's
they
different
don't.
sides to those things.
Yeah.
So you can say, yeah, it's great that I'll play my age, or I'll play older than my age. I think Bazaar in some film, or some of these characters have been
Shakun
older
Kothari
than
is
I am.
one of my favorite characters.
Yay.
I love
It was
him.
great fun.
He is sexy
Thank
and
you.
he's the best. Stock market
There you
bull.
go, sir.
Thank you. Lovely. But, he's a bit older than I am even.
Way
but no
older.
issue playing that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it depends on your energy and what's actually what the truth is. If the truth is that you're young at heart, or you look young, or you are young, or whatever, and you're playing different ages, it's okay. But if you are a bit of a, if you are older, or, the truth comes out, the basic personality, I
Right.
suppose. But there is a tendency is a danger to get nailed, where someone says, okay, now you're doing this. So I can
Now you're
understand.
old.
I can understand the reservation where people have it, but it's not something that really bothers me, because as long as the role is interesting, and there's always been something else. Like if I'm doing this, there's that, and that's given me the confidence that okay, it's not only these offers, but I still think if somebody offered me, like a much older guy's role, I'd say, okay, hang on, I could ease into that in a while if I'm still getting Lal Kaptan as an offer, or I'm getting Bhoot Police or Jawani Janaman's more energetic. So I understand the reservation, but it's never been anything that really bothers me, because I like living my life a certain way and then having a creative job. I've never really thought about the job too much as, where is this, what's the positioning of this thing? It's just that, is it a nice role? Is it a fun thing to do? And let's just go do it.
But the kind of roles you're doing right now are more diverse than ever. I think
Right.
the work that you've displayed in the past more than a couple of years, 3-4 years.
Yeah.
Do you think you're in a better space than you've ever been? Because you've been marvelous, just with the digital space, with movies. You've been excellent.
Thank you very much, because I have really worked my butt off, in the sense that I've realized I need to and I want to. And things have changed. Like, I've worked with a lot of people in the digital space that kind of changed my approach. I mean, even like interacting with guys like Deepak Dobriyal and were brilliant actors. It changes that thing of coming from that old school commercial space to a much more modern, keeping up with the way things are unfolding now. It's not me, really. I mean, I always would have chosen those films. Just those films are being made now. So guys are making these films, and people are allowing them to make these films where, I don't know if Navdeep could have made this film. Maybe, people have tried always.
Of course.
But this is the right time. I mean, people have always done these kind of slightly off, but now
Cinema's ready for it.
I feel, so we're getting
Audience is
these
ready.
offers.
Yeah.
So we can mix it up.
True. It's changed. The cinema's evolved.
I mean, I think the audiences have had exposure to much, sort of like world cinema. They've had,
Exactly.
there's the internet, there's all these digital
Competition's
platforms.
increased because of that.
Exactly.
Tell me one director whose journey really inspires you, because times have changed, new people have come in, so who is this one person?
I very honestly have no heroes, because heroes are
No
always
heroes.
the heroes are very fallible. They always have feet of clay and they disappoint you. So I think it's a protective strategy, a defensive strategy, not to have any heroes. I mean, of course, lots of them inspire you, but there's not that one particular person.
No one.
I just said that in my wife's show yesterday. She said, which couple do you idolize? I said, don't idolize anyone.
Nobody.
Yeah, no, can't idolize means something else, no?
It can be a very, very
You can
senior
respect
person.
certain things about
Yeah.
certain
Yeah.
people.
So let's ask you that. One actor who you really respect.
Anyone. I mean, so many in the West. I mean, God, everybody. Who's that cool guy from
You also don't
Hill
watch
Behind the
Hindi
Pines?
movies anymore.
I do.
You
Of
do? You
course I do.
started?
Yeah.
There was a time you said, don't watch.
I know, it was a pretty silly thing to say. Also, films have changed.
True, they've
you
become
know?
so much
I could
better.
So, I love I would say Amir Khan has become almost a slightly boring answer. It's just,
Everybody looks.
yeah, like, who do I idolize, if anyone, Al Pacino, I just think he's the most amazing actor ever, more than anyone in the West. I like Jack Nicholson,
Good choice.
this endless list. One is Jared Leto, who's just done the Joker, and the other is Madhavan, who I just saw in Vikram Vedha, who I thought was great.
Great.
So
Talking
that's what's
about the
interesting.
new generation in India, who
Yep.
do you think really has the potential? There's so many new faces. There's there's Janvi Kapoor, there's Sara, of course, there's Ishan Khattar, there's so many. Who do you think has that fire?
I don't know about fire. I really do like Sara on screen. I think she's got a inherent humility, which I really like about her when I see her being photographed. She looks really kind and down to earth. So maybe it's a bit of a biased answer.
It's
I mean,
okay.
obviously.
You come from an illustrious family. Your father was the captain of the Indian cricket team. Your mom was one of the most celebrated actresses of her time. Tell me, a child who's had everything, what does he dream to achieve? What drives him?
I don't know. It's really dangerous, because sometimes if you are privileged like that, you might lack drive because things have come a little easy. So you have to find something, and it takes a bit of time. And I don't think it's got anything to. Maybe it's genes. Maybe it's some family thing. But it took a while. But now, I mean, what drives me is to be really good at my work, and my respect of my peers is important. I want people, because I was a bit of a naughty boy, and I was a bit of a, errant kind of child. So I've been through that. But now that's boring. I want to be known for being really good at my work, to be, a fairly solid kind of person. So what drives me is enjoying life in my personal space, trying to get along with, my family and friends, of course, to celebrate life.
Yeah.
But work-wise, it does. I think it drives me, like to want to be better and better, and to read stuff about it, or to find a role that excites you, and to try and take it to a new level somehow, because we're constantly growing. So to bring that to work.
Pretty evident from the kind of choices you're making. For example,
Well, great.
this movie. Did you discover a new shade of Saif Ali Khan in this movie? Something you didn't know he had when you were filming? Because this is something he's never done before.
I did.
You did?
I did, for sure. I'm sure you must have.
No, I mean, obviously I'd never worked with him. I've only seen him in films before. No, but I think there's a process of discovery every day. I mean, I'd heard of his
Did he
sense,
surprise
for example,
you
his
that,
sense of
"Oh
humor.
my God,
yeah,
I
I'd
didn't
heard
know
of
he
his
could
sense of
do this."
humor, but his sense of humor is outstanding.
The wit, I agree.
My cameraman and I used to just be totally cracking up because here he's in this Naga Sadhu get up, and just hearing those words come out from that figure was even funnier than just from Saif himself,
We
Yeah,
have
I
to
can
check
imagine.
out the
Just like-
BTS. I hope you captured it on camera because we
I'm
were
sure
seeing
I'm sure there's some making of somewhere.
I'm sure there's some capturing him also behind the camera.
The most interesting thing that I just now realized that you said that I am a little vulnerable on camera, which is why I empathize so much with my actors. Did that play out well for you when you were filming with him?
He's very, okay, I'll tell you something about him, which is, he's quite famous for that, I think. That he's got a slightly short fuse when things are not done properly. Like,
Okay.
he's a really nice guy, and really, I like a lot of people I know, very different personality to the guy who's running the set. Okay, so there'd be things where he'd say, okay, well, this is set in 1750 or something.
Yeah.
So there are no roads. Okay, so this is the part where my characters are riding across. So this is what we're going to do, and this is how it is. So the next thing, he comes there in the morning, and they've made a road, and then there's bloody hell to pay. Then I see him almost busting a jugular vein, screaming and going nuts. I've heard he's got a really bad temper, and I hope he doesn't yell at me. And then he was really nice to us because he really likes actors. I remember Vikram Motwani, who I think they've worked together on NH10.
We're friends.
He said, how are you getting along? Because he's also throwing things and breaking stuff. So he said, no, sir, the difference is I really like actors. And he's right. He is right. He's really nice to actors.
Is it
So
scary to work with someone who can throw things at you?
At you, yeah.
Like,
But
are you
there's
scared to
this
give
kind
it a
of-
shot? Like,
there's
oh my
this
God.
mildly psychotic
Chair's
sense
coming.
of disconnection. I'm like, as long as he's throwing it at someone else, I don't care.
Has
I'm
someone
like, it's
thrown
quite
anything?
entertaining.
Has someone thrown anything with you ever?
Not at, only,
Like that.
only the,
Like a chair comes flying out of nowhere
only women.
while shooting.
No, while, on this journey of life.
Very subtle. Very subtle.
It's true.
It's true. But great talking to both of you. Such an entertaining conversation. All the best for the movie.
Thank you so much.
Very intriguing trailer, very intriguing characters, all of them. So please watch it in the theaters. It releases on the 18th of October. All the best to both of
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.